The first time I saw the alien princess, I was standing on the observation deck of the diplomatic station Aurora Gate, pretending that the endless sea of stars outside the glass somehow made sense. It didn't. Nothing about my life had made sense since the war ended. 3 months earlier, I had been a soldier in the Terran Expeditionary Fleet, stationed on the front lines of humanity's first interstellar conflict. Now I was a security officer assigned to protect diplomats who smiled politely while pretending the galaxy wasn't still bleeding. The station floated at the edge of neutral space, where representatives from dozens of alien civilizations gathered to rebuild what the war had destroyed, including the empire that had almost wiped us out, the Virelian Empire, and its heir, Princess Lyra Viral. I noticed her immediately when she stepped onto the observation deck. Not because she was royal, although the quiet ripple of whispers around the room confirmed that, but because she looked lost. Virelians were tall and elegant, with pale silver skin that shimmered faintly under the station lights. Lyra's long white hair flowed like liquid starlight down her back, and her eyes glowed faintly violet. She should have looked intimidating. Instead, she looked tired, lonely. For a moment, our eyes met, and something strange passed between us. Then I turned away. After that day, I avoided her. Not casually, deliberately. Aurora Gate wasn't small, but it wasn't large enough to disappear completely. Diplomats and officers moved through the same halls, the same gardens, the same restaurants. Still, I learned her schedule. If the princess attended a council meeting, I took patrol duty on the opposite wing. If she visited the station gardens, I switched shifts. If she walked into a room, I walked out. Weeks passed like that. At first, I told myself it was professional distance. Then I told myself it was resentment. But the truth was much simpler. I couldn't face her. Because every time I looked at Princess Lyra, I remembered the war. The Virelian War had lasted only 2 years. But it had been the longest 2 years of my life. The Virelians were older than humanity, technologically superior, and terrifyingly efficient. Their fleets cut through human defenses like fire through dry grass. Entire colonies vanished. Billions died. I had fought on the front lines during the worst of it. Boarding actions, planetary defenses, desperate last stands. The kind of battles that left ghosts behind your eyes. And in the middle of that nightmare, there had been one moment, one battle, one decision, one girl. It had happened on the burning surface of a Virelian colony world. Our squad had been sent on a sabotage mission, destroy a communications array, delay enemy reinforcements. Simple. Except nothing in war is ever simple. The battle went wrong almost immediately. Our dropship crashed under anti-air fire, scattering the squad across a forest of alien crystal trees. By the time the smoke cleared, only 3 of us were left. And Virelian soldiers were closing in. We ran, not toward victory, just toward survival. That was when we found her. A young Virelian woman trapped beneath the wreckage of a transport vehicle, surrounded by burning debris. At first we thought she was a civilian. Then we saw the royal insignia on her armor. The princess. Even during war, everyone knew the royal family. My squad mates raised their weapons immediately. A royal hostage would be priceless. Or dead royalty could demoralize the enemy. But when the girl looked at us, she didn't beg. She didn't scream. She just whispered one word. Please. I don't know why I did what I did next. Maybe I was tired of killing. Maybe I was tired of the war. Or maybe, in that moment, she just looked like someone who didn't deserve to die. I ordered my squad mates to lower their weapons. Then I lifted the burning metal off her and helped her stand. The princess had stared at me like I had broken the laws of the universe. Why? She asked. Because you're not my enemy, I said. Your empire is. Then I gave her my emergency medical kit and pointed toward the forest. Go. For a long moment, she didn't move. Then she said something I didn't understand in Varelian and disappeared into the smoke. My squadmates thought I had lost my mind. Maybe I had. But something strange happened after that battle. The Varelian assault slowed. Negotiations began weeks later. And eventually, the war ended. 3 months later, I found myself on Aurora Gate, working security, trying not to think about the war, trying not to remember the face of the alien princess I had saved, until the day she walked into the room and recognized me. The first time it happened, I felt it instantly. That strange sensation of being watched. I looked up. Princess Lyra stood across the room during a diplomatic reception, surrounded by advisors. But her eyes were fixed on me. Recognition flickered across her face. Then disbelief. Then something else. Hope. I left the room immediately. After that, I made sure we never crossed paths again. Weeks passed. I told myself it was easier this way. But the truth was that the memories were getting worse. Sleep didn't come easily anymore. When it did, it brought nightmares. Burning cities. Screaming soldiers. Friends who never made it home. And the moment I had let an enemy princess live. I kept wondering if that decision had cost more lives somewhere else. War had a way of twisting your mind like that. Every choice felt like a mistake. Every memory felt like guilt. Eventually, the pressure built until it cracked. The night it happened, Aurora Gate was quiet. Most of the diplomats were asleep, and the artificial gardens were empty. I walked there because it was the only place on the station that felt alive. Bioluminescent plants glowed softly under the transparent dome, revealing distant galaxies beyond. I sat on a stone bench. And finally, I broke. The tears came quietly at first. Then, all at once, years of war, months of silence, all the things soldiers pretend don't exist. I buried my face in my hands and let the grief spill out. I thought I was alone until I heard footsteps. Human. The voice was soft, familiar. My heart stopped. I looked up slowly. Princess Lyra stood a few steps away. She wasn't wearing royal armor or ceremonial robes tonight. Just a simple silver dress that shimmered faintly in the garden light. Her violet eyes were wide with concern. "I finally found you," she said quietly. I wiped my face quickly, standing up. "You shouldn't be here, princess. I have been searching for you for weeks." My chest tightened. "You shouldn't have. Why have you been avoiding me?" Her voice wasn't angry. It was hurt, and that somehow made it worse. "I'm just a security officer," I said. "You're royalty. That is not the reason." Silence stretched between us. Then she stepped closer. "You saved my life." My jaw tightened. "That was a long time ago." "For me," she said softly, "it was yesterday." I looked away. "You should forget it." "I cannot." Her voice trembled slightly, because that moment changed everything. I frowned. "What do you mean?" She hesitated, then said something I never expected. "You saved the princess of the empire that was destroying your people." "Yes." "You could have killed me." "Yes." "But you didn't." Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. That single act forced my father to reconsider the war. My breath caught. "What?" When I returned to our fleet, I told him about the human soldier who spared me. She stepped closer. He realized something terrifying. "What?" That if humans were capable of mercy even during war, then perhaps we were not the monsters our empire believed. The garden felt very quiet. So, he started peace negotiations. I stared at her. "You're saying you ended the war?" The words hit me like a shockwave. "That's not possible." "It is." Her voice was firm now. My father told me himself. I shook my head. No. Wars don't end because of one moment. This one did. Silence settled again. I felt dizzy. For months I had wondered if sparing her had been a mistake, if it had cost lives. But now, you're telling me, I said slowly, that letting you go saved billions of people. Yes. My legs suddenly felt weak. I sat back down on the bench. Lyra hesitated before sitting beside me. For a while, neither of us spoke. Then she asked quietly, "Why were you crying?" I laughed bitterly. War. She nodded slowly. Yes. I understand that. You do. My people lost millions as well. Her voice softened. But I have something you don't. What's that? She turned to look at me. Hope. I frowned. Hope. You showed me that humanity was capable of compassion. Her glowing eyes met mine. And now I want to show you that the galaxy can be something better than war. I looked at her. Why me? Because you are the reason peace exists. She smiled faintly. And because I think you deserve to see what your choice created. I let out a long breath. You searched for me for weeks just to tell me this? Her expression softened. No, then why? She hesitated. For the first time, the confident alien princess looked nervous. Because, she said quietly, the human who saved my life disappeared without even telling me his name. I blinked. That bothered you? Very much. Despite everything, I found myself smiling. My name is Daniel. She repeated it carefully. Daniel. Then she offered her hand. I am Lyra. I shook it. For the first time since the war ended, the weight on my chest felt lighter. The weeks that followed changed everything. Lyra and I began meeting in the gardens almost every night. Sometimes we talked about the war, sometimes about our worlds, sometimes about nothing at all. And slowly, the nightmares faded. Not completely, but enough. One night, while watching distant stars through the dome, Lyra spoke quietly. Daniel. Yes, my father has an idea. That sounds dangerous. She laughed softly. He believes that lasting peace requires more than treaties. Agreed. He believes it requires trust. I nodded. That's harder. Her glowing eyes met mine. That is why he wants a human advisor at the Varelian royal court. I blinked. You're joking. No. And he chose me? Yes. Why? She smiled. Because the princess trusts you. I stared at the endless stars beyond the glass dome. The war had taken everything from me, but somehow, one moment of mercy had changed the future of two civilizations. And maybe, just maybe, it had also changed my own. I looked at Lyra. When do we leave? Her smile brightened like a rising star. Soon. And for the first time since the war began, I was ready for the future.